Hello, this is Ben Ryder here from Agfa, and today what we're going to be looking at is how we can take Heightmap data from satellite imagery and import it in here to create terrains inside the Unreal Engine. So before we looked at how we could use just simple sculpting tools to create things, but now we're going to actually look at how we can actually use some of the input data to create something to start with just from here. So the way we do this is you can go to a website like this, which is Tangram's Heightmapper, which if you Google Heightmapper, it's one of the first one that comes up. It basically gives you the entire map of the world for you to be able to scroll around in. I've picked this small island off of New Zealand, and you know, that's just a very mountainous region, so that tends to work pretty well for height maps. But it's always good to check on Google Earth to see, you know, what this will actually look like as a 3D model and everything, just to sort of get a base idea about what we're looking at. But once we've sort of got that and we know what we want, you can also use map lines here to find where you're looking for if you're looking for a very specific place, but you just need to go here to export. That will create a file down here, and there's just a few things that we need to change. If I go here to new level, we can just have a look at what happens if we just simply take the export data. So we'll take that, go show in folder, there it is. So if we are in here, the process for doing this is going here to modes and then landscape, and then we simply select the latest in the downloads folder, and you'll notice that this little exclamation mark comes up. The reason that comes up is because as we hover over it, it will say this appears to be a color PNG and grayscale is expected. So we need to convert it from a color PNG to grayscale. The way we do that is we simply open it up inside of Critter. So you can just do that by finding the file, right clicking on it, go open with, go choose from app, and then go to Critter. And then once it's open there, all we have to do is go to image, convert to image color space, and we're just going to go from RGB to grayscale and then 16-bit integer. Then we go OK. So now that that is there, we simply go save over as a PNG. We make sure that both of these are unchecked because otherwise they will force an RGB profile to be there. So we don't want that. So we go OK, and that is there. And now we can import that in. So I'm just going to go out of this mode, go back to landscape, go back to here, go to our top one here, and as you can see, that now disappears. Now the Heightmap Resolution is important because we want to make sure that we have all these variables here correct. Best way to do that is to go to the Unreal documentation website, this one here, Landscape Technical Guide, and this will go through all the different resolutions that you may need if you start noticing any sort of weird things happening with your landscape. Just find the closest one here and make sure those are there. But usually this fit to data will normally go just fine. So we're going to click import, and fair warning, when you first import it, it's going to be very high. So you need to go click here on landscape, and just under scale Z-axis, just change that down to something more reasonable like 20%. And that will then change it from that spiky profile that we had before, just to give you a preview of what it was looking like before, like this. It will just reduce it down to something much more reasonable, like that. So that's how you import that. Next we'll look at how we can put a texture map on this and start painting our textures.